What's up guys, Jesse from Dead Center Coaching here. Have you ever noticed that fat shows up on your stomach first and it's also the last to leave? That's not a mistake. Our body does that to protect us. I'll show you exactly why it happens and how to fix it in a few easy steps. Jesse Sansaloni here from Dead Center Coaching, and today I want to talk about why belly fat forms. And I'm going to show you the exact daily habits that you need to start implementing today that'll help you get rid of that belly fat as quickly as possible. Now, one thing that you need to understand about belly fat is it doesn't just show up overnight. It really builds over time through repeated bad habits that you might not even know that you're doing. First and foremost, bad nutrition habits, eating a lot of sugary foods, a lot of sugary drinks, things that are just loaded with processed sugar, loaded with carbohydrates that you don't necessarily need, and just being completely oblivious to it. A lot of people don't even know exactly how many calories are in the sodas that they drink throughout an entirety of a day. And some people drink upwards of 1,000 calories just in liquid, just in sodas, without even realizing it. That's a lot. And that's probably half the calorie intake for, a good amount of those people watching this video. So you want to make sure that you want to really be aware of what you're putting into your body. And if you're someone who does snack on a lot of sugars, a lot of candies, a lot of sodas, well, opt for the lower calorie option sodas. They taste the same or very close to it, but you will strip off a significant amount of calories at the end of your week. A lot of people also have too much processed foods going out to the restaurants. And even if you think it's healthy, a restaurant that is selling you chicken and rice, there's a reason why the people are always going to these restaurants are fat. The food's probably not as healthy as you think, right? A lot of these restaurants, a lot of these places prepare the foods in high fats. When they're cooking it, they're dousing a bunch of oil. Who knows how the meat's prepared? Was it marinated in oil overnight? We don't necessarily know how the food is prepared. And that's why even if the food seems healthy, it's probably, yes, the components could be healthy, but the calories are not really aligned with your goals. And this is why you're not losing the weight, because you've tried everything and you tried switching restaurants and the weight is probably still sticking. Well, it just means that the restaurants that you're opting for are probably not as calorie healthy as you think. So you want to pay attention to the amount or the frequency of restaurants that you're visiting and make sure you slowly start to cut back over that. Another reason is you're always stressed. So high cortisol levels will also equal higher fat concentrations on your body. This holds true for everybody. A stressed body is a body that is a mess. You're also not sleeping enough. Lack of sleep can really create a plethora of issues throughout your day. When you're tired, you tend to be more hungry and you tend to just have higher cravings in general. So you want to make sure you're having an adequate amount of sleep. I'm not saying you need to get 8-9 hours a day, but have an adequate amount of sleep where you don't necessarily feel tired and your cravings are not off the walls the next day. And lastly, you have no movement. You're sitting at a desk or you're not really active throughout your day or your week. So you want to make sure that you find a way to incorporate some sort of activity in your day. And well, the good news, when it does come down to fixing the amount of belly fat that you carry, it can be fixed in a way that doesn't require a lot of suffering. Yes, you will have to make changes. However, we can also limit the amount of suffering. And I'm going to explain to you exactly how to do that with some very simple swaps that you can do in your day. So firstly, as stated previously, when you are making your plates or you are going out to eat at a restaurant, always make sure that your plates are going to have the largest component being the proteins. These will help keep you full. They will help keep your cravings at bay because you're not going to be hungry, followed by a big portion of vegetables, and control the carbohydrates and the fats last. Adequate amount of protein, adequate amount of vegetables. This will keep you full. You got to remember that you will be eating for purpose and not necessarily for pleasure. When you're on a weight loss journey, you can make this food flavorful if you're willing to go the extra mile and try to season it and cook it in a way that is pleasurable for you. Next would be soda swaps. So if you're that type of person that is having a lot of sodas, opt for the 0-calorie one or the low-calorie options. Just that alone, I promise you, your weight will go down. I've seen it happen with countless clients, family, and friends. Just make this simple swap. When it comes to candies, well, there are some high fiber candy alternatives that you can swap for the high sugar candies. Not to say that these are without calories, but the calories are coming from a better place and you're going to get your fiber intake at the exact same time. So these are good swaps that you can do, or find a way to make some healthy snacks at home that are tasty, that are not necessarily going to break the calorie bank for nothing. A bag of candy, although it doesn't seem filling, the calories are a different story. How full you feel eating is not reflective of how many calories are present in the snack of choice. For example, take a handful of mixed nuts. Could easily be 500 calories. And when you eat a handful, well, there's a reason why you go for another handful and another and another. It's not filling, not the same way a full meal is. So always be conscious of what you're consuming and how many calories when you are essentially snacking throughout the day. The next tip would be to just be active. You want to set yourself a walking goal of between 8 to 10,000 steps per day. Now, this is going to be on the bare bones minimum. I do think that any kind of activity would be great to stack on top of this, but if you're not going to do much, at least walk 8 to 10,000 steps a day. This is just going to keep things circulating the right way. Now, of course, we also want to include weightlifting or any kind of activity. If you're not someone who likes weightlifting, maybe you like playing tennis, you want to do some sort of activity just to keep your body in shape. Now, there are a lot of benefits associated with weight training that stem further than building muscle, but I'm not here to persuade you guys into weight training because it's what I do. I'm here to persuade you guys to be active. So whatever activity you decide to choose, as long as you're doing it 2 to 4 times a week to keep yourself healthy, keep yourself moving, and keep that body fat coming off. The next would be regulating your sleep. You do want to aim between 6 to 9 hours. Some people argue 7. Whatever makes you feel great. You want to get an adequate amount of sleep because this is going to keep your hormones happy. Your hormones are produced primarily when you're sleeping. So you want to make sure that you're getting a good quality of sleep and you're sleeping for enough time, not just for hormones, but also for recovery purposes. If you are one of those people that is doing a lot of activity throughout your week, your sleep is going to be crucial and essential to feeling better, looking better, recovering better, amongst many, many other things. And lastly, de-stress. Now, I can talk about stress for a long time, but what I do suggest for the majority of you would be to do things to just take your mind off what's stressing you. And usually a lot of people tend to stay late on their phone, scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through TikTok, doom scrolling, whatever it is before bed. Now, this is a form of stress because you are preventing your body from secreting the hormones that it needs to be able to get that good quality sleep. One of my suggestions is stay away from your phone or any kind of electronics or any TV at least an hour before bed. If you are someone that has a hard time falling asleep, I encourage it regardless. Read a book, do some meditation, do some of these things to just help bring you down a little bit, to take you away from those things that are stressing you out. You can also look at certain supplementation. So magnesium biglycinate before bed can also help you with sleep and help to regulate stress. You can also take this magnesium post-activity again to help regulate stress, because even though it's an activity and it's good for you, it still does cause a stressor on the body. So I want to make sure that we kind of manage and regulate stress across the board. You can also look into other supplements like ashwagandha, which you can take in the morning to help control cortisol level at the beginning of your day and allow this to bleed in throughout the rest of your day. It's a great supplement. I've personally used it before when I was in periods of high stress, and I have to say it does work phenomenally. And this is what I encourage you guys to start doing today. I made this video to help you guys get the belly fat off, and I created a small action plan on what I want you to do on a day-to-day basis to set you on the right track. The first thing I want you to do when you wake up every morning is have a big glass of water. This will not only help to crunch your cravings first thing in the morning, it is also going to help to hydrate you. Again, your body is made of 70% water, so we want to make sure that we give our body a good amount of water and not just coffee and energy drinks throughout the day. So start your morning with one big glass of water, preferably 500 mLs or more. Your first meal of the day, followed by all your other meals, should be protein dense. So if you're looking to make yourself a breakfast, make yourself some eggs or any kind of protein, smoked salmon, doesn't matter. You want to make sure the protein is always going to be the main player in your meal, followed by the rest of the components. And always make sure you have a serving of vegetables in there, because the fibers will help to keep you full for longer and reduce craving. If you're drinking sugary drinks every day, make the conscious decision to at least swap one of them a day for a 0 or low calorie substitute, and then eventually increase this across the board. I promise you, swapping a Coca-Cola for a Coke Zero, you taste almost no difference, and you'll eventually get used to the taste. If you can really taste the difference between the two, you'll get used to it. But save yourself those 200 plus calories that you can allocate to something else that can be fueling you in the right way and help fuel you towards your goals. Set yourself a walking goal. Anywhere between 8 to 10,000 steps a day is a very good start point, and adhere to it. Do it every single day. Even on the days you don't feel like it, go for a walk. Call up a friend, your wife, your husband, your partner, whoever. Go for a walk. Talk. Engage with people, live in the moment, live in the nature, do what you got to do. Just get out of the house and walk, or get yourself a walking pad and walk inside the house. Figure it out. One of the two options are great. Get your steps in. And lastly, set yourself some time to wind down before bed. Again, give yourself at least, I know it's hard, 30 minutes where you're not on your phone, you're not on TV, nothing. So you can just wind down a little bit and just put yourself in a state where you'll be able to sleep with high quality. Read a book for at least 30 minutes before bed. Now, I know when it comes to the nutrition, it could be a little bit difficult for you guys to really know what direction to go in. So I've actually put together a nutrition recipe book, and I am going to link it in the comment section below. So if you guys are looking for a quick and easy something to follow, again, it's not personalized, but it will provide the structure that can help put you on the right path. You can get access to the book below, and I do really hope it helps you. And if you have any more questions regarding that, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. So if you guys found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, please, I would really appreciate it. Give me a follow, drop some video topics you'd like me to discuss in the comment section below, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.